Hello everyone, today's video I'm going to be reviewing Batman Returns. Before I start, I want to say before this video that I thought it would be appropriate to show this is a t-shirt that I'm representing today's video. Also, I've had this shirt since 2010 when I was a junior in high school that my parents gave me as a present. I want to say that this shirt is vintage, but honestly, I'm not so sure. But still, this is cool. A Batman Returns t-shirt, vintage or not. Anyway, so on to the review. After the success of the first Batman movie, Warner Bros. Wanted to make a sequel to Batman. Tim Burton was unsure if he wanted to do a sequel because he has claimed that he's not the kind of director that likes to make sequels. And around this point, he was really on top as a film director after the success of Batman Edward Scissorhands. Tim Burton said that he would make this movie under one condition, that he would make this movie his own and have complete control of how he wanted the film to turn out. Batman Returns was once again directed by Tim Burton, who also produced the film. It was produced by Denise Nova, who produced a lot of Tim Burton movies. The story was written by Sam Hamm and Daniel Waters, who wrote the screenplay. Daniel Waters is very well known for the teen comedy film Heathers with Winona Ryder and Christian Slater. And he also wrote Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. The movie stars Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman again, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Christopher Walken, Michael Gough, and Pat Hingle. Batman Begins is about the Penguin who lives underground in the sewers beneath Gotham City. The Penguin asks greedy businessman Max Schreck to help him and for the people of Gotham to lose faith in the Batman, and the Penguin be the new symbol and hope for Gotham. Selina Kyle, Max Schreck's assistant, finds out about Max Schreck's plans, and he tries to kill her, and then she becomes Catwoman. She teams up with the Penguin to destroy Batman, but ends up falling in love with Batman instead. Despite this movie being a Batman movie, but at the same time, this movie is more of like a Tim Burton movie first before being a Batman film. It has the elements of a gothic horror movie. This movie gets a mixed opinion from Batman fans, and it's a movie that is either liked or disliked by comic book fans or Batman fans in general. For me personally and honestly, I like this movie, but at the same time, I can definitely point out some of the minor flaws it has. It's a very unique Batman film in its own way. The first Batman film was definitely a Batman film in its own way, and then whereas this film is really more of a Tim Burton movie. And like as all kids growing up, my parents would not let me watch this movie as a little kid. And despite being a little kid growing up being afraid of horror movies, this is going to come as a surprise. For some reason, Danny DeVito's Penguin never scared me as a little kid, and I can't really explain why that is. It's weird. Michael Myers scared me, but not Danny DeVito's Penguin. One thing I always like to point out, compared to the first movie, this film was like way darker than the first movie itself. Also, Danny DeVito's Penguin is not like the comic books. Tim Burton made the Penguin his own. Danny DeVito's Penguin is so gross, disgusting, and ugly monster, grotesque, a freak, with a murderous motivation to kill Gotham's firstborn children. The most disgusting and gross part in this movie is when the black stuff that comes out of his mouth. Oh man, that was a little bit over the top and way overboard. The Penguin's an outcast since he was born, growing up in the sewers with the penguins and the circus performers. If you look at the design of the Penguin, this movie you can tell was the same inspiration for the animated series. But then again, the 1990s animated Batman animated series was inspired from the Tim Burton movies. The only difference is he doesn't have the black stuff coming in his mouth in the animated series like in the movie, but he still has like the flippers. The Penguin in the animated series is still like half man and half human like in the Tim Burton Batman movies. But I'm not gonna lie, the one thing that really grossed me out as a little kid was when Max Schreck surprises the Penguin that he should run for mayor. He bites one of the consultant noses. That was one of the grossest things I ever saw as a little kid. One thing I agree and point out is that the Penguin's a sexual predator in this movie. When he makes remarks on having sex with the girl Jen, remarking how big his manhood is, that is messed up and gross and put to the button on the girl's boob. You can point that out as Harvey Weinstein. The worst is when he wanted to get into Catwoman's pants. I didn't want to picture or imagine that. Danny DeVito was okay as the Penguin, but he's not top Jack Nicholson from the first movie as the Joker. The Penguin as a character in this movie either sympathize or pity him, because he wanted to know why his family abandoned him and how he wants to kill Gotham's children. All the Penguin wanted to do was be accepted and blend in with society. Also, the black stuff that comes out of his mouth, that went like way too far and extreme and over the top. That was just like so gross and disgusting. Ugh. At the ceremony, when the Penguin is given a speech, Batman uses a recording used in his Batmobile when the Penguin took control of his Batmobile. Bruce exposes the truth on Penguin what he said about the people of Gotham. People are going from cheering him to throwing vegetables at him. Who brings vegetable to a speech rally? Was there a vegetable vending machine around that I was not aware of? Not to get political here, you can definitely relate this to any politician when the truth comes out as being exposed. Also, the Penguin taking control of Batman's Batmobile was used in an episode of Batman the Animated Series called The Mechanic. Before Bruce is exposed to the Penguin, Alfred shows concern how they're going to fix the Batmobile. It's not that we can take it to any Joe's body shop and security concerns. Bruce is like, security? Who let Vicky Vale in the Batcave? It's funny how like Bruce reminds Alfred what happened in the last movie when he let Vicky Vale in the Batcave, talking about security issues. I like the finale showdown between Batman and the Penguin. When the Penguin says, "You're just jealous. I'm a genuine freak, and you're a man who has to wear a mask." Batman responds, "You might be right," flips him over. It shows how the Penguin is at a rage from everything going bad and not going his way. Batman shows the Penguin his weakness. The Penguin's babies who have missile rockets. The Penguin panics, swings and takes the button and pushes it. Instead of hurting Batman, the Penguins destroy the abandoned zoo, and bats attack the Penguin. He falls down in the sewers. The ending when he dies, his animal penguin friends send him in the water as a funeral. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman with Selena Kyle is another character they changed up in the comic books to this movie. In the comic book, she's a cat burglar, whereas in this movie, she is a weird, shy, low self-esteem, lonely assistant with no life. She is let down by her boss, Max Schreck, who does not give a shit about her and does not respect her whatsoever. She starts off nerdy, shy. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman with Selena Kyle is another character they changed up in the comic books. In the comic book, she is a cat burglar, where in this movie she is weird, shy, low self-esteem, a lonely assistant with no life, and is let down by her boss, Max Schreck, who does not give a shit about her and does not respect her whatsoever. She first starts off nerdy and shy, and Max Schreck kills her by pushing her from a building, and she comes back after being bitten by cats and kittens and has 9 lives. She becomes a strong, confident woman as Catwoman. She wears a leather costume like something out of a BDSM Halloween costume. I will say, she does do a great job as Catwoman. She was also crazy and tortured psychologically that was hinted to be damaged by her. She has great chemistry with Michael Keaton as Batman. Their interest for each other is very convincing. Compared to Vicky Vale in the first Batman movie, in this movie, he's like really into and loves Selena Kyle. The part when Batman says, "We are the same," shows an example how, like, Catwoman was the perfect woman for Batman. I love the scene at the ballroom dancing scene when they both find out they are both Batman and Catwoman because of the mistletoe quote. Mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it, but a kiss can be deadlier if you mean it. Catwoman has some weird, corny puns and funny one-liners, like when she becomes Catwoman and talks to the cats and says, "I don't know about you, Miss Kitty, but I feel so much yummier." Or when she stabs Batman in the ribs with the nails, she says, "Who are you? Who's the man behind the bat? Maybe you can feel the pain, or the woman behind the bat." Or when she saves a random civilian's life, she grabs the girl's face and says, "I am Catwoman. Hear me roar." I can't remember the first line. Something about, like, where always waiting for some Batman to save you, something like that. Sorry if I can't remember that line. It sucks that we never got to see her back as Catwoman back in the third movie. And yes, we all know about the 2004 Halle Berry Catwoman movie, which I'll admit, I have seen that movie, but I saw that a long time ago, and I honestly don't remember a first thing about that movie. All I remember was it was really bad and just not memorable. When you think about it, the real main villain of this movie is Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken. Before I talk about his character, the name is based on a horror actor, Max Schreck, who played Count Orlok in the 1922 silent German expression film Nosferatu. His character's a real piece of shit. He's a businessman, greedy jerk. When the Penguin asks him for help, or he will blackmail him, it shows his weakness of being afraid of his image being ruined by Gotham. In the end, when Catwoman gave him the perfect kiss of death, sometimes I joke, anytime I watch that scene, I joke, "Wow, Selena, you give an electric kiss." That was not the best Walken impression, but I tried. This is another villain that was not in the comic books. Power Plant. Bruce, shame on you. I remember once reading that they almost wanted to have Harvey Dent in this movie before Max Schreck, and that was going to be a setup for Two-Face for a sequel. And how they originally wanted the Penguin and Max Schreck to be brothers. Honestly, I'm glad they did not go in that direction. I'm not sure how that would have made sense or turned out. It was very interesting to see how they got Paul Rubens, who played Pee Wee Herman, as the Penguin's father in this movie, and the actress Diane Zelinger, who played the French waitress in the Pee Wee movie, as the Penguin's mother. They originally wanted Burgess Meredith as the Penguin's father, but he turned it down because he's in the early stages of Alzheimer's disease at this point in his life. Why did Batman not save the Ice Princess? One thing that he's done this a million times, saving people jumping off from a building. What was he expecting? Superman to show up and save the Ice Princess? Back when this movie came out, it was a big hit at the box office, making money, but the reviews and reaction were mixed or negative and was considered too dark for kids at the time. Because at that time, McDonald's canceled its toy promotion. What's also crazy was I was not even born yet when this movie came out, and yet my dad bought the McDonald's toys. I have these toys like right here. I only found, here's the Penguin toy, and here's the Catwoman toy. I do have Batman the Batplane somewhere around. I just can't find it at the moment because my nephew were playing with it a while ago. I'll show you a photo of that toy. Around this time, people thought comic books was really more of a kid's thing. People also did not gravitate at the time for the story arc of the Penguin being told as a sad, tragic, misunderstood character at the time. It's a bummer and a letdown that this is the last Batman film Tim Burton directed and Michael Keaton played Batman. Well, the good news is Michael Keaton will be coming back this year as Batman, and I can't wait. Sometimes I wonder if Tim Burton was not fired and booted off the series, how could the third Batman film been? Also, Batman is barely in the movie, and not the main focus as much as the Penguin. Because of the Christmas themes, many people have pointed out and consider this movie a Christmas movie. The same way people consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. I'm not gonna lie, in the past I have rarely watched this movie around Christmas time, but I don't consider this a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas and has a Christmas theme, I will say that. The ending of this movie is a big cliffhanger when we see Catwoman up on the tall building, seeing that she survived, and yet we never saw her again in the future Batman movies. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Batman Returns? At the time, like when it came out, you probably were excited. Yes, another Batman film. Keaton's coming back, and it was a sequel. But were you like shocked and surprised? Like this is not what I expected.
Yeah, I was glad that a sequel was coming out, and I really was looking forward to it. But I thought that in this film, Batman kind of took a back seat to everybody else. And I don't know how much the screen time was, but I'm going to guess it wasn't that much.
It wasn't.
The other thing is that I thought it went over the top. It was too much, too sordid, I guess I would say, with the Penguin, eating the raw fish.
Yeah.
And I just, and after rewatching it, I feel the same way. I don't think that it's gotten any better on a second viewing. I really was disappointed in it. Michelle Pfeiffer, she was a interesting Catwoman. It was a different, quirky way to approach her character, and the other, the Danny DeVito's performance was good, but I think it was just too, it was too off putting. I really overall don't really like the movie, nowhere nearly as much as I like, the first Batman.
I can see why. I mean, I like it. I mean, it's not that I'm saying it's bad. It's just, it's okay. I mean, maybe because I grew up on, well, you want to talk briefly how you wouldn't let me watch the movies? Uh-oh, secret's out now.
Yeah, that's right. I felt it was, it wasn't appropriate for for a child. It just didn't, and yet there was a controversy because, McDonald's was putting out little Batman toys.
Which we have around, but
to promote the movie when it wasn't a kid's movie at all.
No. I mean, isn't it like surprising to tell you that as a kid, it never scared me or freaked me out as much as most, like, even though this play I was afraid of Goosebumps and Michael Myers, but Danny DeVito's. Are you impressed with that?
Well, yeah, I know you said that you always felt Batman was there to protect you, so that's why.
Yeah, I guess as a kid, I always felt safe with superheroes as a kid, and still do to some ways to this day.
Yeah.
What did you think of Christopher Walken in the film?
Well, Christopher Walken's always interesting. I thought he was good, and I enjoyed his performance. But another thing I didn't like when he unmasked himself in the penguin lair there.
I guess I can see that.
I didn't like that at all.
Right.
That's he took the risk of revealing his identity to the world. I mean, Shrek actually was electrocuted there. So
Yeah. Well, then again, like Shrek was really a bad person.
No, he was, but I mean, in case if he lived, Batman identity would have been known. But Shrek did say, "Bruce, what are you doing dressed as Batman?" Which I thought was an interesting line.
And like Catwoman summarized, he is Batman, you moron. Was boom, but
Yeah.
of course they're not gonna kill Batman. That's ruined the whole series. And
yeah.
I mean, do you think the film is not as? I mean, it's okay, but it's not as bad as they say it is.
No, and some of the images are great. Tim Burton is a very talented director. I mean, he comes up with these great images, like at the ending, where you see the Catwoman looking up at the image in the sky.
Did you think that she was going to come back for a sequel or maybe have her own spin-off film at that time? Or
yeah, I thought that was a good possibility.
Right.
But then the franchise just changed completely after that.
Do you want to briefly just talk about your thoughts on Batman Forever and Robin just for a brief second?
Yeah, I mean, Batman Forever was okay. I thought Val Kilmer was a decent Batman. And I did like that movie, not as much as Burton's movies, but I did like it. But then it went off the rails after that.
What was your reaction when they found out that Keaton was bowing down, Kilmer was playing, going to be Batman at the time?
Well, I was going to miss Keaton, but when I saw Val Kilmer, I thought, he was a good Batman. He wasn't as bad as George Clooney. But that movie was just bad.
Let's just say Clooney's performance as Batman makes Kilmer look better.
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, Kilmer dodged the ball at that time.
Yeah.
So that was my review of Batman Returns. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe, hit the notification bell to get the latest updates on my YouTube channel. And stay tuned for Batman Forever.